Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Roots of Refuge. So, that's the first time I've done that. I start many farmer's table videos almost saying Roots of Refuge, but that is the first time that I have almost said the farmer's table. But we're in the kitchen. I just wanted to turn the camera on and hang out with you guys for a little bit. I'm cooking dinner and I have a couple things I'm going to be piddling around with, and I thought we would hang out and chat a little bit. That's funny. So the farmer's table is a year old. I don't know exactly what day it was, but it was last week, sometimes like the end of October of last year, that I registered that channel and decided to start sharing cooking content. I was asked for years. People would be like, will you share recipes? And I didn't want to, because I really I'm not trying to make a cooking show, you know. I'm really trying to make dinner for a bunch of people as well as do a bunch of other things, and oftentimes I'm super multitasking and distracted, and the idea of trying to have it together enough to make a cooking show it felt very impossible to me. So I decided to do a somewhat distracted, all over the place, real mom cooking dinner for family cooking show, and it's been going well. It was nice to celebrate a year. So over here, I've got some aromatics in this pot, sweating it out in some ghee. And then here I have a pot of bone. This is a pile of chicken. Jackson came home from school today to do some work around here. It was really nice to have him here. And I roasted some chickens for lunch, and then I had an extra chicken that I boiled. So this is 3 chicken carcasses in here, and it's been simmering all afternoon to make a really good rich stock. And I'm just making chicken noodle soup tonight. That's actually Benjamin, one of his favorite foods, like of all, is chicken noodle soup. And it's such an easy thing to make. I do have a farmer's table video for chicken and rice soup, which is the same exact process, except for in that video I put rice in it, but today I'm putting noodles in. Instead, I've got some gluten-free noodles that I'll put in the end. But I'll put a link to that video if you want to check it out. And if you by chance did not realize that I had another channel that is 1 year old. I actually have a goal over on that channel. I'm hoping to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I think we just rolled over 90, so that's, I think, doable. Maybe a little bit of a challenge, but I appreciate the help of you guys subscribing and sharing. So I have another thing I was going to ask you, and I know this ultimately comes down to my decision, and I know that people are going to have a vast array of opinions here, but I was considering what to do here on my range hood. Now this range hood, the paint that this was painted, which is this, when I bought this house, it's peeling really bad. It's like peeling off here. Like I've needed to redo it for a little while. So my plan is to kind of sand it down some, and I'm leaning towards this like navy blue, but I also have, this is only one color, so I don't think it's a very great depiction, or one coat. This is like a brick red. I think it's leaning a little pinker than I like. So I also have this color. It's like a really warm brown, grayish, kind of brownish. And I don't know, I painted the island, but I don't really know if I love it. So I have more of this paint that could potentially go on the range hood. And then I have a green, which is kind of like one of the darker greens in this pair. Now my cabinets in my old house were like green, and green is my favorite color. I've already kind of put a green on the walls in here. So when we decided that we were gonna stay in this house long term, we were planning on building another house, we decided to stay here. We had originally put this house on our property, honestly, in a crunch. This is what we were able to get. It's beautiful. We were trying to find like a trailer that we could move on and then move off, but everything was crazy backed up post-COVID. And so literally this was the only house we could find. We exhausted all our options. And this was the only house that we could find that we could even get in the time frame. much less like size, preference, anything like that. We bought it sight unseen. This is a double wide manufactured home, but it's one of the ones that they put on a permanent foundation. I think some people have said that they call them modular, but I can't remember what it is. When we bought this, the dealer told us this does not qualify as a modular home. I don't remember what the specs are for that. We had no preference. As it turns out, this is a fantastic house. It suits our needs so well. We're so excited that we're just going to stay here, which is obviously going to save a lot of money versus trying to build something else. But the number one thing that I was like, I have to change this, after I realized I've been living in this like a waiting room and I need to change that. And I needed some color in this dang house because literally everything was gray. Like all the walls, all the floors, everything in the whole house, the cabinets, everything was gray. And as soon as I started putting color up on the walls, I just felt so much more at home. But I also have a tendency to kind of overdo the color a little bit and then feel a little chaotic in spaces. So I've tried to be very measured, but I'm thinking I may end up putting that bright green on this island. It's not bright, it's just vibrant. There's difference. It's like plant green, like this is actually what it is. And it matches my beautiful pears, which was a very sentimental gift to me. My friend Melissa painted that. If I put the green on the island and blue on the range hood, with the white cabinets, that's not too much, right? I mean, I do have yellow there, dark brown there. I'm putting yellow in here. It's kind of a lot, but so am I. I'm chatting and I'm supposed to be chopping. Not great. All right, we're gonna sit and chop and chat. I like to make long-term plans. I really, this is just because I'm a dreamer, I'm very visionary, and I think that that's a great trait. I've had to learn how to balance that with reality for sure, but I don't ever want to stop dreaming and planning and envisioning what I would do if I could do anything, because I think that makes us just live our lives in a much more brave way. So the way I have learned that helps me is when, for instance, when we decided to stay in this house, the thing that helps me is to make like my absolutely ideal end goal plan, which that plan included, of course, building Maya's workshop, which has like a big community room, and we shifted kind of some of the things we were going to do in the kitchen over there since we're not planning on building the house with the big kitchen up the driveway. And so we'll still have that like very functional processing space. It'll just be in the workshop, which will be great. I actually like that idea better than the original plan of having it connected to our house, because I think it'll make it easier to share that space with our community. When we decided to stay here, planning on the workshop, I also kind of planned where, I'm not chopping, where some remodels would be, and adding like a big front porch, adding a separate little room down here that can have a little fireplace in it. That was something that I really wanted, was like a separate living space, and then another bedroom off the back. So we have like a couple small additions that we'll be able to largely do the work on. But that's kind of long term. We're not going to start that until after we do the workshop. And so then there's the like immediate plan of like, what can I do right now? And of course that's considering the reality of right now's budget, the reality of right now's time constraints. And that was where I made like my painting plan and started organizing, getting rid of stuff. I basically wanted to challenge the way I had been temporarily using my home and challenge myself to like dig in. So often I think that we don't make a right now plan because we realize we can't do the ideal plan right now. And realistically, like, we can't remodel this house right now. We have other things that need to be finished. It's not the right time of year. It's just not the right time. And I didn't want to waste the real revelation of like, wow, I've been living in this home temporarily and I want to change that. I had a lot of motivation, a lot of energy towards that. And since I can't do the remodel right now, I didn't want to like just oh well, can't do what I really want to do, so I guess I'll just keep on staying the same. So that's why I dove into painting. And my goal has been to finish the facelift phase, which is what I've been calling it, by Thanksgiving. So I've still got like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. Crazy. Thanksgiving's in 3.5 weeks. Christmas is next month. That's just wild. I need to make these color decisions in the kitchen. I've held off doing. I've got to paint the cabinets over there. I finally got the paint in for that to match this size, but I'm just not sure on the island. I already painted this. I didn't paint the other side. The other cabinet fronts are not done, because once I got this side done, I'm like, this may not be cheerful enough. This may be too dark. It's safe. It's neutral. But I love colorful things. So I have my long simmered chicken stock back here, but I also have this container of beef broth. I thawed this out the other day. I thawed a few of them out for something I was making. I didn't end up needing this one. So I'm going to throw it in here just because I don't want to refreeze it and I don't want to waste it. Y'all look at this. That is beef bone broth. That is the good stuff right there. If your broth gets the consistency of Jell-O, you did it right. That just means it has a lot of collagen in it. That's good stuff. It melts back down to being a liquid, but it does have it adds a lot of richness to soup. So if I have more broth in this pot that's behind y'all than I need, I'll freeze it. But I don't, when I've thawed things out and they've sat in my fridge for a few days, I don't want to refreeze them because they're more likely to go bad on me. Y'all look at this. I picked these beautiful dahlias. These are actually carrot blooms from I left a handful of carrots in to go to seed in the high tunnel. And all of these dahlias were in the high tunnel. And this is a canna flower. The plant's actually really frost damaged, but the flowers were still okay. This is probably going to end up being my last bright bouquet until next year. Check this dinner plate dahlia out. It's huge. I gave this one to Maya. It was really kind of too damaged to put in the bouquet, and I knew it wouldn't last very long. But he and I were on a walk around the farm while I was picking those flowers before our family came for dinner tonight, so I picked this one and gave it to him. Big flower for Papa Bear. So this is probably a little silly, but this is kind of the way I tend to do things. Is a little silly. I am dipping this measuring cup in this broth pot, and I am taking some broth out, and I've got a strainer here on top of my soup pot, and I'm going to put a good deal of broth in the soup, and then I'm actually going to put some more water over these bones and let them simmer for a little bit longer, just because some of these bones I just added in here after I picked the chicken off. And I think that I can get still a pretty good broth. Hey Ezra, what's up, brother? Hi, Mom. I think I can still get a pretty good broth out of this with what's left in this pot. I don't need all of this. All right, I'm doing all of this early. Our family won't be here for another hour-ish. So I'm turning the heat off from underneath that soup. I'll stick the meat in there here in just a little bit, and then the noodles to boil them when it's closer to everybody getting here. I need to run outside. You're probably gonna hear gunshots out here. Maya and Toby are actually sighting in Toby's hunting rifle because it is deer season here in South Carolina. On my to-do list is to pot up some houseplants. I put these here so that when I would run out, I would not forget. So I'll have to come back to that. Oh, hey, Jamie. Y'all, isn't he a cute cat? He looks so cranky, and he is. He's very cranky. Look at this. The driveway pumpkins are still putting in a good effort. They've been beat down by a hurricane. A lot of the vines were damaged by the frost, but still got fruit ripening. So I just need to come out here to the pantry and check on something. Yes, it's done. My pantry is honestly just the hot mess express right now. It needs probably 2 days of attention organizing. My freeze dryer is out here and it says that it's complete. I need to check on it. I've got ginger in here. And I need to just make sure it's actually done. So really, I was wanting this ginger to like be powderable, and I'm happy with that. These all are consistently where I want them, so I'm going to take them all out. Don't want to know a little life hack? So I'm really bad about putting stuff in like the freeze dryer or the dehydrator, and then when it comes down to like unloading it, being like, oh, I'll do it in a little bit, I'll do it in a little bit, and then waiting long. So these are freeze dried marshmallows. Small little snacky snack, my treat for coming and unloading the freeze dryer. When I don't have enough stuff to fill the whole load, I just throw a little treat in there, so I have some incentive. So dumb. Alright, I've got half a gallon of slices here. I gotta run back out there and grab an oxygen absorber. Considering the fact I'm gonna be opening this jar and accessing it, that's only gonna help so much, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna get through those fast enough that I'm not trying to store them long term. Now I'm gonna take this other tray plus a little bit and put it in the blender. This blender is clean and dry, and I'm going to grind these down to a powder, put it in another jar with an oxygen absorber, and then I will use that in place of like dried ground ginger for like making gingerbread or ginger snap cookies. Anywhere in baking that you would use powdered ginger, I can use this freeze-dried ginger, which is going to have like way more fresh flavor. Plus I grew this, so that's really cool. When you think of growing your own food, a lot of times like when you first get started, you're thinking about the staples, like the big things that you can replace. I have found such value over the years of really like putting systems in place and growing a lot of food. And of course I'm growing staples, you know, I'm growing lots of tomatoes for sauces and salsas and potatoes and, you know, all the different things. But I find probably a really special joy in getting into like the nitty-gritty details and growing, I guess herbs kind of falls in this, or like pepper powders and making condiments from things that I grew, and all of the little extra stuff that really adds up over time.
Are no Maddie here?
Yeah, they're out there. You want to go out and greet them?
When did they do?
They just pulled up. All right. Y'all, this smells so good, so strong and fresh. All right, so that needs to go in a jar. I've got some fresh ginger still that I'm gonna pickle. And I still have a lot out there that I haven't harvested yet. And a lot of it is about to flower, so I was gonna leave it. And I may end up leaving, I may thin it out a little bit and spread it out, but then leave a lot of it out there to harvest later. Oh, this smells so good. It is the most bright, brilliant ginger smell. I'm making a mess. I need to stop. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. My family just pulled up, so I'm gonna finish up dinner and hang out with them. God bless y'all. Until next time.